GM, and welcome back to Crypto Saving Expert, the show where we discuss the latest cryptocurrency news so that you stay up to date in the world of Web3. I had to clear my throat there today, guys. We are back on a Wednesday rather than the Tuesday. We had to push it forward. But today is the more important day. Everyone's going a bit crazy. We have the Fed interest rates at 7 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. UTC if you're international. Block Pro, how's your day looking? Are you going to be focused on the charts today?
Well, I'm going to take it easy today. It's incredibly difficult to say what will happen within the chart. So, yeah, it will be an interesting one. It doesn't happen often, of course. Rate cut news. If we look at the forecast and previous news, yeah, it's hard to say at this point. Like from today, we're going parabolic. I think that it will be a little bit more difficult than that. But let's see. I'm going to wait what the outcome will be. And we go from there.
I've seen a lot of talk in the market. People are saying, perhaps traders are taking their chips off the table for the interest rates decision. A lot of people would rather sit on the sideline and kind of watch this one out because the volatility is going to be a bit unpredictable. We'll have a wick going one way and then the movement going the other, basically. We're sitting quite pretty with Bitcoin right now, but we've also got to talk about gold, because when you look at gold, the crypto market is lagging. And I know you always keep an eye on gold, and you've been trading gold, and a lot of the community members have as well. But we'll go through that a little bit later. We'll pull up the gold chart and give some reasoning behind that as well. But let's have a quick look through the chat here, see who we've got today. We've got Hugo with the first comment. Good to see you, Hugo. Glad you're back from summer, by the way. Hugo was having a fun summer, but now he's back to the chart, so good to see you, Hugo. We got Wiz the Vault, GM. Wiz went nowhere. He's been active, more active than ever. Good to see you, Wiz. We got John as well. Always a pleasure. We got Bruce here as well. Good day, chat. Hugo's also saying too bullish on Block Pro and Spud. Love to see it. Guys, Wiz and Hugo are actually going live around 12:30 today as well. So if you're in the Discord, the link is all there for them. We've got Wiz the Vault saying mega long MYX 100x leverage. You know this. You know the rules. Hugo is saying I'm currently short on Bitcoin with my target around 110. We'll jump into that, Hugo, very shortly. And we've got Sammy here saying GM LFG. Guys, make sure to slap a like on today's video and subscribe. Turn the channel notifications on, all that jazz. But first, actually, we'll just have a quick fling through yesterday's newsletter, guys, as well. So yeah, markets are on edge this week as Bitcoin steadies ahead of the Federal Reserve's interest rate decision on Wednesday today. Bitcoin is hovering just below 117k after breaking through 113k last week, while Ethereum is retesting a major support zone and could set the stage for a push higher. Solana continues to impress after a rally to 250, but faces strong resistance before a potential run at $300. With the Fed decision looming, altcoins holding key levels and stocks at all-time highs, the stage is set for another pivotal week in the markets. But which way will it pivot, guys? That's what we've got to find out. Also, guys, if you missed yesterday, AIQ actually went live. It's on Base. You can find it on Uniswap. I've been talking to the team. Quite a cool project. Basically, it's AI trading agents that scan across BNB, Solana, Base, but the token is on Base. So go check that out. I think slightly below launch, they had one of those kind of refundable IDO setups with launch pads, and if it doesn't go 10x, people are like, boom, refund. So slightly below launch price, but still not too far. I think it launched at like 50 mil and it's at like 46 mil or something now. So nothing too crazy, perhaps some scope there. I know some further posts from influencers are coming out over the next few days, so keep an eye on that one, guys. Talking about altcoin launches, Block Pro, throughout the year, people were saying, oh, we're going to launch in April after token 2049 in Dubai. All of those projects are now saying we're going to launch after token 2049 in Singapore in September now. For me, I've always loved new projects, launches. It's often where, I've made my funds in the past. But right now, I'm staying clear from launches and actually kind of letting the dust settle a little bit after the first day or so. And if I believe in the project, if I like the team, if I know they're committed, then I'll jump in. But what's your take on some of these altcoin launches at the moment? And is it just a liquidity grab?
Well, for me personally, like what I said was I don't have taken any pre-sales that weren't unlocked before April.
Yeah.
Because my analysis back then also showed that, well, I want to have to unlock before April. And
Yeah.
I do think that if I look towards the entire cycle, like everything still looks like just the bull run, and especially with these projects. Launching in a bull run is one of the better things to do. Makes your life a lot easier. People have a lot more money. At least usually they have a lot more money, because altcoins still remain not to be seen, of course.
No.
So I think that for a lot of projects, they basically have now an extended period of basically 1 quarter to actually push their projects still. I do think still, if you see projects that you really like, or you think like this can be something in the near future, you can always take them. I personally wait for the project to actually launch at the moment and see what will happen, because especially Q1, a lot of projects took the dive there, and just try to avoid that. So not jumping the gun is, I think, one of the better things to do here. So yeah.
No, definitely right. And going back to Q1 of this year, I got tempted into some OTC deals. You know, you buy a decent chunk of tokens directly from the company. They give you a discount for that. I got goaded into them thinking, wow, 30%, 40% discount. This is brilliant. But you know, it's locked and it's vested, and basically that, you know, I'm at break even on them, luckily. But at the time you're thinking, wow, 30%, and then when this unlocks, it could be 2x from there. You're going to be quids in, but not always the way. So got to be careful with those ones, guys. Let me know if there are any altcoin launches or any altcoins in particular you are looking at in the chat, and perhaps we can go through those as well. But we'll just have a quick run through here. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana when we head over to TradingView on BlockPro's chart. So I'll just fling past a few of these right now and come down to the important dates, which is today. So yes, the Federal Open Markets Committee meetings occurs 8 times a year. The Fed meets to discuss recent economic data and the strength of the US economy before deciding whether it should increase, decrease, or leave rates unchanged. The Federal Reserve is composed of a board of governors that assist its chair, Mr. Jerome Powell, in making interest rate decisions and steering the US economy. So the Fed will announce its interest rate decision, which is expected to be a 25% cut, or 25 bits cut, sorry. Afterwards, press conference will begin at 7:30, where Powell will conduct a 30-minute speech before taking questions from the press. What's your expectations here? Do you think we're going to see the rate cut like is predicted?
It's a gamble at this point. We do probably get them. I do think if it comes in at 25, that it is probably priced in. So you can see it mainly towards, especially in the world of crypto and in Bitcoin mainly, is that every time we get these rate cuts, you have a little bit of a run up. And that is basically the anticipation for the rate cuts, because if it drops, that means, well, price will start booming. That's what we see from the past. But it also means that a lot of liquidity is ready to be taken out of the market. So I think it's a difficult one, but I do see here that you can bet on it, or
poly markets for the degens there.
Oh, poly markets.
Yeah, poly markets.
No
so
way.
we can see here we've also got this one, which is quite interesting as well. I think I might have a little flutter on this in a bit. But what will Powell say during September press conference? Will he say inflation 40 plus times? Will he say? Let's click onto this one to pull it up a little bit further. Inflation 50 plus times. Basically, you can bet on how many times he says inflation, and words like unemployment, employment, and even if he says good afternoon, which is, I think, a trap, if I'm correct, because it's it will be morning time for them, won't it?
Yeah.
Trump, that's quite a good one. Yeah. So yeah, guys, if you haven't used Polymarket, it is a gambling site, but it's slightly different. Maybe I won't say gambling on YouTube. It's not. It's a prediction market, I should say.
A prediction market. Yeah.
Here we've got the Fed decision in September. So no changes, only 2%.
Yeah, so this is what I find interesting with the entire build-up towards this news, is we can shout off every Twitter page rate cuts, but we also have the option to not cut rates. Yeah. And if that happens, be prepared for a bloodbath, because that will just cause a shock wave through the market. So, like I said, this is always a really difficult one to, well, first of all, predict where a price will go or what a news event will do. And I think in a scenario like this, like if we cut rates, then we went full circle. Because this is something that a lot of people forget, is once you actually go lower with your rate cuts, it often also indicates a start where a potential bear market can kick in. That will take a longer period of time, so then you're talking still about like half a year, what you still have before a market reverses. Till then, it's still euphoria. But it can have such an incredibly high impact towards the market, because like in the end, you basically long term you don't solve anything with cutting rates at all, because after that your spending becomes bigger. So just pushes roll the problem forward. That's what you basically do. But if they want to do that, then well, they should. That's why we're in crypto, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Just to beat the inflation. So what's this chart here then?
So yeah, this is the prediction market chart. You can see here it was like end of July, where people started, there was obviously some news coming out then, rate cuts were coming, etc., and people started betting. So you can see how this has changed over time. So we've got 50 BPS is actually the blue line here. So that was actually the more common choice back in July and June there. And this probably means that we can also predict on the next decision, which will be November time, or perhaps even late. November time, I think. And then you can see, 25 BPS just absolutely took away from there. But yeah, it seems that no change was never really in anyone's plans here.
Not an option.
No. But yeah, it seems pretty set. Polymarkets seem pretty certain with this one. So, how polymarkets work is you're betting against everyone else. It's not, you're all the liquidity providers as such.
Do you 10x your money on this, or what's your return if you get it right?
If you went for 50 and it was yes, you would, these people would then share the rest of the pool of everyone else from here that put in.
Okay.
So it's like cool. So everyone that's voted yes will then get a share of this and that as well. There's no change in the 50. That's how it works. And it's like trading. If you click yes, and then it goes up in value, you can then get out of that as well. And like trading, sell at a higher point, etc. So yeah, interesting to work. I saw a comment. I've got to go back on here. Wiz said the Malawi presidential election doesn't look rigged at all. 98% to 1%. I've got my money on Peter. There's also some random ones you see, like, will Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift pregnant?
Oh boy.
If I was her family, I'd be playing some dirty games on this. Just saying.
100%.
Will Trump release more Epstein files? But yeah, we're getting away from crypto here. But guys, go check out Polymarkets. Not financial advice, but it's also good to see how the market is predicting these outcomes. And if you want to know if Taylor Swift is pregnant, probably your best shot as well.
That's a good sentiment meter.
Yeah. I'm going to start one. Is Spud the dad to Taylor Swift's unborn child? It will just be me voting yes. But anyway, let's have a quick look. These are the top gainers over the last 7 days. So yeah, Pump Fund has absolutely been smashing it. A lot of the CFC community have actually been trading this long. So if you're still in the long position as well done, because I took profit on it in like day one. So like, well done if you managed to hold that position. Been impressive. I think the Pump Fund team, basically they wanted to let price dwindle and then build up from there. Probably the smart move. Still no airdrop though. So yeah, keep an eye on if that airdrop is coming. Immutable up 30%. Mantle also up 17%. I'm actually quite surprised to see Mantle, still in the top 30 here. 27, doing quite well. Only one above Monero. And yeah, to me, Monero's got a lot more use case than Mantle has. Still a fan of Mantle, but surprised, with its progress, if I'm being completely honest. AVAX, I know a lot of you have used AVAX in the past. For me, it's a decent layer one, got a good community, but the usability of it is a little bit complicated. I'm not sure. Have you used AVAX before, Block Pro? It's got multiple chains like C chain, A chain, all of this kind of stuff. And they're non-compatible with each other. It's a little bit confusing for the everyday user. I'm not sure if they've worked on that and made it a bit easier, but
no, I used it in 2021, and after that I actually didn't touch it anymore. Well, the chart is tradable, or at least it's quite a good asset to trade, but the system itself, not a huge fan.
No, I agree there. But let us know in the chat if you do use AVAX. I know Bobby Blockchain from the community, he's a big AVAX fan. And there is a strong community. I see at the events, they always put on at events. They always have good side events. Suggest to me, some decent institutional money. We can see here Zcash is also in the top gainers. Zcash, Monero, both privacy coins. Is there something going on? Our government's trying to hide money. BNB also performing really well, almost at $1,000. Do you think we'll see BNB breach that soon, Block Pro?
100%. Yeah. So when it comes towards BNB, basically the warning shot that we have presented in the crypto saving expert community was around 731, and from there it's basically just, again, one straight line up towards 900. So I think we will probably see that $1,000 happening. What will come after that, not 100% sure. The higher we get, the more difficult it will become to actually be accurate. But it is a nice gainer, especially if you hold from the early days. Then congratulations.
And just had to pull up World Liberty Financial as well. I'm actually surprised this has managed to hold up so well. Especially we spoke about it last week, didn't we? About Justin Sun, his funds. His funds were like frozen. I will check up on the update of that. Actually, I haven't kept up to date with that news story. But that was a bit screwed. But their holding price actually looks quite stable. If we look last 7 days, quite decent growth, to be fair. But bit of a stable coin, but it's probably what we expect.
Maybe that is the future, sir.
Yes, yeah. Less volatility. But yeah, let's head over to your chart now, Block Pro, and let's have a look at obviously Bitcoin. We've got to look at gold as well, and let's also talk about Solana.
Oh yeah, 100%. So let me load it up. We already lost support here. So we are now looking at a Bitcoin chart. As you can see, bull run. How nice is that? Bull run. It remains mental. If you put this thing on the weekly and just look at the growth of this asset, it's just insane.
Yeah.
So let's go towards the 4 hour. So this chart has been set up in quite a simple way. So we're looking at weekly support and resistance. Basically shows the areas where we are trading in, so makes it already a little bit simpler. So currently trading at 116,450 ish. we actually closed above our support line. Now, the thing is, I posted this also in our Discord this morning, saying like we have gained our support.
Yeah.
So that means the support has become resistance. And I also posted with that. But today it doesn't say anything. So normally I would go and say, okay, we have gained that 116,737. From there we can start looking towards a recovery run all the way up to 120. Now, I have here a fat red line on my screen, and that is basically the do absolutely nothing territory.
Yeah. We spoke about this last week, actually. So anyone who didn't catch last week's live stream, Block Pro will put important dates on, directly onto his chart, so we can't miss them. You can set up trading alerts and all of this, but best just to whack a fat line on the time where you can't miss it.
Always indicated with the bigger news events, especially like in the world of crypto, it doesn't even impact it that much. If you're in Forex or metals or energy, the market will make absolutely crazy news. And usually crypto has become a little bit more numb towards big news events. I do think that has to do with higher prices, so it costs more to manipulate it. But yeah, so basically we still are in an uptrend on the higher time frame. So basically if we go back towards a 4 hour, you can actually see it's just a higher high what we have created. Now I have two lines on my screen and they're very small because they belong towards more of a 15-minute time frame, where we actually have here a gain line, so 116,000, going to just round the number off, otherwise it will be too many cents. And every close above there is positive, is bullish. That shows that there is strength to actually start gaining that support back. Now, if we have a full closure below 114,825, that means, well, we're going lower. You cannot really change that. There's no amount of TA you can throw against it. That means you're just reversing the trend from bullish into bearish.
Yeah.
Now, one of the scenarios, and this is also what we have discussed yesterday during the stream, is you always need to look at these type of days. Doesn't really matter how big the news is, but as soon as you see something that is starting to gain, you can say, of course, okay, we're now towards that resistance again, so we can short it towards the downside. For me personally, looking then towards the news, so some housing news, what else do we have? The FOMC, of course. So today is already quite an important day. This is where you then need to say to yourself, I actually want to be in the trade before the news comes out.
Yeah.
And if you then open the trade on the news day itself, then you make the chances quite small for it to actually work out, because we can just liquidate into both directions.
Yeah.
Now, I see based on old liquidity zones, so here on the top side, so this is towards the 118,000 all the way up to 121,500, and here towards the entire downside all the way down towards that 108, 110 zone, even 112 belongs to it. That is actually the range that is filled with liquidity, so long and short liquidity. So if we measure the distance, basically roughly 10%. It's quite decent for a liquidity range. Can also look at heat maps. I personally do not do that, because then you get overwhelmed with numbers, because then you can say, oh, if we hit that, then we liquidate 500 million. Who cares about 500 million when it comes towards liquidation? The more money is in there anyway, the better it is. So, but it's always hidden in the candles of where we can expect it to go. So the reversal point of that entire trend is basically in this area here. So then we're talking towards, what's the low point here? 107. and the high point here is towards 109,000. So let's say 110. This is an area you need to keep in mind for potential liquidity. So if we would follow how this structure is built, we can just simply follow the entire path towards the upside, like so. Now, every time that we see a low being created, we can already say, so this one is a little bit shit, it should be like that, sorry for that. And over here is that we can say, under every low, our stop losses is liquidity hidden from people that are just in with way too much leverage. And that actually might be the reason where you start heading towards the downside during such an event. If you do not react towards 114,000 area, you will search up the liquidity towards that 111. Still, from that point, we can say, let's take a cheeky trend line, is even if you reach towards that point, there's not a whole lot going on in the form of, oh yeah, have we really broken a trend? Well, not really, because you have not broken your low at 111. So that first warning shot of change of characters on the top side. But to become bearish, you want to have the break of structure so that's continuation in the trend. So I think what I would do, and this is something that everyone always needs to ask themselves when they're a trader, what if you were a market maker? Spot. How would you go about it? Would you say, oh yeah, no matter the news of the rate cuts, we let the crypto people have their moment, or no, let's verify the hell of them?
Yeah, let's wipe them out and then go the opposite direction. This does play into what you mentioned just now as well, Block Pro, and I've mentioned it before as well. But a lot of traders like to play both angles, but then this can also be difficult because you can get stopped out both directions.
Yes.
What's some of your tips or advice, and is it a play that you would often make yourself?
Well, if I would look at a scenario like this, I want my bias to be aligned on multiple time frames. So my bias needs to be the same on the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. And that basically means I want to see an uptrend on all those time frames. If one of those time frames is not lining up, it's invalidated for me. That makes it difficult because the chance, especially now with volatility being almost at an all-time low, makes it really difficult for all those time frames to be lined up. This was a lot different in 2021, where you could actually see that everything was lined up all the time. So to say to basically go for a position where you want to say, maybe I want to bet on the short or to bet on the long. In that case, you need to look towards like actually the top ranges where you can say like maybe at 120,000, I'm going for a short order in the form of the rejection. So from that place, you're actually looking where a shock will happen towards the upside to actually liquidate all these highs. Because everyone there is short and all that liquidity is sitting above there. So that means you want to have the greediest entry. Then you can go a lot higher. Then the other option is, well, because in the end it is news where we don't know the outcome from. And betting on the news is not really something that I recommend, or at least then you need to use Polygon. No, what was it? Poly markets.
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to bet on the news, rather do that. So, and if you get that shockwave towards the downside, that means you need to look towards your greediest entries, and that would in this case be more towards that $108,000, $109,000 Bitcoin before start moving up again. Now, what makes it difficult is what we have seen with liquidations happening around these events is they can be horrific. So if we would look towards measuring pullbacks, because if it would be bullish news, we probably liquidate quite fast to bounce up in a gold candle mode. Now, we can say if we take here from our resistance line and we're going for basically beyond worst case scenario, then we need to zoom out a little bit, and then we can see more starts of impulses that we might want to liquidate. Now, I always say take roughly 20% for worst case scenario. And this is what I always think is funny when preparing charts to trade and for streams and for the coaching sessions, is then I look at this and I say like, okay, so around 17, we hit at 96.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then we go a little bit lower. Let's say we take the 20 range. So over here, that brings us back towards 93,000. Well, keep 93 in your mind. If we then go towards a weekly overview, and we're going to look of the importance of 93,000.
Yeah, you can see it pop up time and time again.
So that is basically what you then can say, okay, if my local levels are not working, just look at worst case scenario. And that then sadly enough leads us back towards 20%. Wouldn't be too bad. It's not really, like I said, it's not really a short opportunity. But
I know there's people that are still praying for sub 100k Bitcoin, so maybe their prayers will be answered.
Maybe they have time tonight. Depends where. Like it's still
don't scare everyone off too much.
Like it's still a fact where I always think like from a leverage trading perspective, doesn't really make sense to do anything about it today. From a spot position perspective, where let's say you're Bitcoin maxi, start putting in those spot orders. Put them just at your weekly support and resistance levels. Because if that sucker is coming down and then moves up again within 24 hours, well, easy trade.
Sorted.
So today locally, again, not really that interesting. Like I said, volatility is almost on an all-time low, and it's something that's actually quite interesting. I spoken about it yesterday during the CSE Discord stream. Today, if I look at it, we do need to put it on the weekly. We can actually see that there are only 2 levels left of volatility. Now, this basically shows that the interest is just very low. Not really positive, but it mainly has to do with when ETFs have started trading. But what's then for might be interesting for the viewers here is start looking what was the news around the 18th of October 2022. What was the news around March? So 25th of. Oh, sorry. I messed it up. So what was the news around the 5th of November in 2018? What was the news around March in 2019? What was the news in July, 13th of July 2020? And how is that lining up with what we see right now? Manipulation.
Mr. Jerome Powell speaking,
there he goes again. So it's an interesting one. Like everything is being set up. Then let's move towards the Ethereum chart.
Yeah, let's take a look at Ethereum. I feel like it hasn't been getting as much attention this last week. You know, a lot of people were talking about Ethereum towards the start of the month, as we can see with price action doing well as well. It seems it's been slightly forgotten about this last week or so.
Yeah, it's just boring. Ethereum we need to call Vitalik and say, dude, start sending it. Because I'm running out of patience here. So we have actually a very nice created downtrend that, again, just screams manipulation. Now, if we look towards liquidity sides, what is important? Well, a gain above 4,736 is something that needs to be played out. So that's here towards the top side. That's this area here. For that, does mean quite a big move, because we have another liquidity zone around 4,550, and from that point we actually need to start gaining that resistance back into support. Now, this also has two opportunities, and especially for today, well, we have some nice liquidity areas, and I think that I believe that last week we already said, like, it wouldn't be too bad for Ethereum to go a little bit sideways for an X amount of time, because then altcoins can catch up. What did altcoins do? They didn't do anything. So to me, it seems like there's just a massive sell on this thing. I do think it's undervalued still. So for now, again, back towards that support level at 4,457. From that point, we might want to see some sort of a reaction towards that level back into the resistance. If that is not the case, then we need to take a look towards the 4 hour. Because if we then have a candle opening on the 4 hour lower than 4,426, well, that means we are actually going lower towards the 4,337, or potentially even lower. So I do think that this is just again, low volume, low volatility. People are just waiting. What the news will be. I think that if the news is positive, I think a lot of sideline money will get deployed. Like,
do you feel money. That perhaps it's already priced in, with the 25 BPS rate cut almost, at 90% certainty? Do you feel that it's already priced in compared to perhaps some other interest rate decisions where it's a bit more uncertain?
Well, you always get a run up towards these events, and that's then where I would like to say, like, I do think that it is priced in. On the crypto market, it doesn't really show too much it has been priced in, because that also means that the sell-offs were actually quite early. So again, on Ethereum, it's actually a horrible example, because just the Trumps are just balls deep in Ethereum at the moment. So with Bitcoin, it actually shows a little bit better, because then you can see when once that anticipation comes for that news, you already start running up. And if you compare that with years before, you will always see the same. You always have that run up, and then based on the decision, or you liquidate, start reversing your trend, or you actually start liquidating, and then you go parabolic. So yeah, it's a very difficult one, especially for today. But that's also why I say to many of the students of CSE, like, make sure to have some pocket money ready to go, because you don't want to miss it if it starts going, and especially towards altcoins. That might be a good one. Now, if we would look towards, for example, where is it here? So towards gold.
Woo.
Yeah, then let me move towards another chart. Then we can definitely say,
jeez, why can't all charts look like this? Wow.
So if this could be like a little bit of an indication what will happen with Bitcoin in the future, that would be absolutely lovely, of course, if it is the digital form
the
of
digital gold.
So this yesterday hit a new all-time high again, and you can clearly see on this chart that we actually have made somewhat of a blow off top. Now, this means that this area here creates the range. So you go from your accumulation into the range, into your distribution, back into the range. So this is what I found quite interesting, especially, like, can go to higher time frames, but there's nothing really to chart here on the top side anyway, is that the manipulation here that you see happening in upwards accumulation, so accumulation in an uptrend, is freaking mental. The amount of bots that will get activated on this asset to just push the price steadily higher is like, it's the same with crypto. As soon as you see these types of moves where you think like, oh, that's a perfect uptrend, that's a bot.
Automated.
And it is automated. So now today, or at least yesterday morning, or at least 6 in the morning, I was looking at this, 5 in the morning. And I thought to myself, this is clearly a scenario where you have, so there are a couple fuckery points here, like proper fuckery points. Gold likes round numbers. So every 100, every 50 is important. So,
and why do you think that? Why do you think that is, Block Pro? Is that the human interaction with it?
Yes, yeah, that's just
the psychological.
The psychological part. So now, if I look towards this all-time high, 3,703, and I think like, oh, well, the person that wanted to get it there, fucking hell, great job.
Who was buying that top?
Yeah, he was $3.24 off with a sell order. Maybe that the spread was a little bit bigger, so he needed that $3.24. But this actually shows that now you already see with news coming up from today, is that you have clearly already, like, there is not really sell pressure. There is some manipulation in the range of people just taking their profits out.
Or taking their chips off the table as such for today,
Yeah, so I do believe now that, especially in the recent weeks, the amount of short positions being liquidated on this for just betting that the price will come down will probably be mental. This is also what I've seen yesterday, is that I got a question from someone that said, like, can I start swing shorting gold? And I said, I wouldn't consider it, but if we would look towards like the more traditional, so an RSI, for example, or what else can we use? Can we get it from the, wait, let me do it like so. So if we would connect that towards the 4 hour, then of course every time you get that spike, you would say, I'm going for a sell-off. Now this is something that's also in the world of crypto that you see a lot of times, that people say like, oh, but the RSI is oversold. No one cares that the RSI is oversold or oversold or underbought, because you have scenarios where it happens time and time again. If you put this on the monthly, we have reached the level of almost 90 on the RSI, but it actually has happened in the past too. So is that then safe to start shorting? No, not at all. But a potential bear market of this will be horrendous, of course. But it's quite funny to look at these types of indicators. Now, I do think what would be really cool is, for the crypto market, you only need about, let's say, like best case scenarios, like about a 2x on the total market cap.
Yeah.
Well, we can take that. We can borrow that out of gold.
Yeah, exactly. There's rumors that the US and Russia are already doing this.
Yes. So that would be epic. But the amount of strength in this without actually real pullbacks is mental. I believe it was last month where Powell said we might cut rates in the future, and the market went, fuck yeah, there's no news, but let's send it. That's then actually is like the indication of how overheated everything is.
In your opinion, Block Pro, what will it take for gold to stoop back down to these lower support levels?
You need a really strong dollar, basically.
Yeah, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. So it does beg the question: how far can gold go? Obviously, we've got that all-time high at 3,703. But I know it's a huge market cap. And to push it to get a 2x as such is a lot of value coming from God knows where. But it does beg the question, will we see over 4,000 before the end of the year?
Yeah, so we already, with a couple of smart brains, we already said in January we probably will reach 3,700. And now we have hit that point. That also means that we can start looking towards higher numbers. But you're still talking about, like, if this thing moves $2, that you're talking about billions being added towards the market cap, like trillions a day.
Where is it coming from?
And I do think that it is sideline money. It can also be already that, like, some of the big hedge funds are already betting against some of the markets. So also sell off from stocks. And this is where we can see a rotation into gold, platinum, and stuff like that. So I do think that people see it a little bit as a safe haven, because, like, it's definitely, or at least it's 100% that the fiat system has failed us many years. So yeah, I think today this one will probably also liquidate both sides of the story. And that's always something that I find quite funny, is when we liquidate on the crypto market, let's say 300 or 400 million. I think the worst one we have seen was 1.5 billion. And then you compare that, for example, with gold, and then it's like, oh yeah, like 1 trillion got wiped out of the market, where you just say, like, fucking hell, so much money what goes on in this shit. So yeah, this is just all-time high after all-time high after all-time high. It needs to stop at some point. When will that be? Probably somewhere next year, I think.
Well, like you say, once the dollar gains some strength back, but God knows when that will happen. I just wanted to pull up a comment from James here as well. James is saying, I want to walk away from the charts this evening for FOMC. I just need to decide whether to close all trades or just do a rain dance. I would like to see the rain dance, James. Especially if you're in the UK now, it's pretty grey and gloomy, so you might get your rain as well. While it is a good decision to walk away from the charts with kind of the uncertainty, I would also stress, even if you're perhaps not live at the time, maybe the next day go back and just kind of analyze the chart, and it will help you become a better trader. And if you are watching it live and you're not trading, kind of do some paper trading. Okay, I would go in here, I feel this would be, and then that will help you in the next interest rate decision as well.
100%. Yeah, so I put today a post out about what I'm doing, and that's I will just quote it a little bit. It's basically, I personally will not hold any recent positions through the news event. My last crypto trades, if something is still open, I will close them an hour before the news event. Metal and energy positions, I will close them as soon as the New York AM session is opened. If you want to trade through this event, consider your entries, consider placing a stop loss, reduce positions to avoid liquidation, adding more margin to an account is also an option, or reducing leverage, de-risk when needed. And I do think that it is something to seriously consider, unless you're just long from like 80k or 16, just low numbers. Because like it's better to de-risk and go again another day, because even if you get that a gold candle, you probably will retrace anyway. So there's always another day to trade. There's tomorrow, there's next week, there's next month. It's actually, it is a big event, but because of the importance of the event, it's also a perfect excuse to mess it up. So for me personally, I'm not going to watch that FOMC meeting because I just don't really care about the meeting itself. You can just check on your phone and say like, oh yes, no, and then load it up again tomorrow. But I do think that de-risking with dangerous or high leverage positions is something to consider. So
And if you do want to watch it live, guys, Stonksy will be going live during the FOMC meeting. So join Dave and the Stonksy crew there, and you can watch it live with them as well. Just some more comments from the section, Block Pro, before we head over to Solana as well.
Yes.
We've got the protagonist saying, Taiwan, the global hub of semiconductors and digital transformation in Asia, has chosen IOTA. Taiwan is now issuing official certificates on IOTA. That'd be interesting. I'll have a look into that. I actually went to Taiwan about two or 3 years ago now, and the developer talent out there is crazy, and the crypto adoption is huge. His protagonist is also saying Algorand moving to US soon. Algorand's always been quite favored in the US. There's quite a few of those coins that were kind of produced in Europe or Russia, but the kind of core community and their audience are over in the States already. So that makes a lot of sense. But I can see we've got the mighty Solana up on the chart, and this has been performing better than Ethereum.
Yes.
What's your take here, Mr. Blockpro?
Oh, bullish, or at least bias is bullish. That can change during the day, of course. Like I said, it's actually a bit of a weird stream with me saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm actually quite bullish," but it also can just go down. Like I have no idea. I put some lines on the chart and try to say something smart. So again, have gained support. What's actually quite nice to see, also reacted couple times of that same area. It is in a high liquidity zone, so that means there is enough volume in that area to actually
and what is that level, Block Pro?
So that's actually $231.60. So are we going to hold that today? Well, again, the amount of manipulation shown on the 4 hour is there. So I do think that this is being constructed a little bit better than Ethereum, or at least a lot better than Ethereum. It's just outperforming. So I do think that because of this area here, we ended up with a little bit of liquidity sitting towards that $218 level. So if we break through that resistance, I actually expect a sweep towards the downside, maybe 213 before you actually start moving back towards the upside again. Now, this trend is up, and the trend is your friend till the end. And where this entire structure stops is at this point here at the top side at 257. From that point on, you can start looking towards like 275, 301, and after that, we get into the more degenerated prices of Solana, where the meme coin community wants to see it go. So to me, this actually looks quite strong. It's definitely something that I want to open tomorrow after the news has been, and then start looking for some positions, because I do think that if I look at the entire structure of this, also on the lower time frames, then I think like it's a setup. It's clearly manipulated on the lower time frames. You can see it even more. Well, I want to make a nice opportunity out of that. So again, this can be something that's on high leverage. I would avoid it today on spot buyings. I personally want to consider like 213, 187, and that's basically the range where I'm interested in. If we break way lower, well, then I'm just stuck with a bag for a longer period of time. So yeah, to me it looks still looks bullish.
Even the Solana colors.
Even the Solana colors, yeah. So you can see it here on the daily, just on the simple line is, of course, this was your first big change of character. After that, we just bossed around. What's perfectly fine. This last gain is quite aggressive. That's a big-ass move. It's $34. Holy hell. Nice. So that this also indicates, again, also why I really like those line charts, is that you can just already say like, okay, so from here there was a BOS point towards the upside, so we can actually maybe reverse this towards the 212 to actually start continuing that uptrend. That would be epic, because we do need a little bit of a bull run. sir.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it definitely would. What's an alarm going off? Okay, so yeah, no, it's to me it looks quite strong for today. Again, would be a bit cautious with it. Once the news is over, just load up the chart, map out your support and your resistance, and basically go from there. So yeah.
For me with Solana, I think it will take a bit of a catalyst, a bit of something else to really push above those levels where we are. So, the maxi inside me would love to say that we're going up to that 256 level, but I think if we break below that 230 level, we'll go a bit lower and build from there. But I still think we're going to outperform Ethereum for the rest of the year, regardless. But I think we'll wrap up there for today. We're coming up to the hour block, Pro. I know you've got a super busy, and everything's been pretty fast paced over at CSC and everything. Just wanted to shout out, guys, if you want more access to Block Pro, to myself, one-to-one tuition with trading or Web3 career advice with myself, please join the Discord. Head over there. Let me just put us over here. You can see, Block Pro's got his own sections there. And also TMG has been smashing the 10K to a million challenge. I think last time I checked, he was above 200K. And I can give an exclusive. There is a rumor he's thinking of restarting this challenge for all newcomers, starting at 10K again, calling it a day at, a $250,000 and going again from 10K again, so more people can enter and hopefully get up to that $1 million. So this has been going on for about 6 or 7 weeks. So he's been absolutely smashing it. So even I struggle communicating with TMG. So if you want one-to-one access with that Martini guy, with Block Pro, the Discord is the best place for it. You can ask questions in here. And we also have a sale off, which is 50% off. 50 off is the code. You can go find it all there. I would love to see you in the Discord. Block Pro does Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday AMAs. Really good. There's another one tonight, which is for premium users as well. So I'll see you all there. And there will be the Stonksy live stream during the FOMC meeting. Not the FOMC meeting, sorry. The Fed interest rates decision. So check it out, guys. Very cool. And I will see you all there. I've got a live stream on Friday as well with Harry from Zebo. We're going to be talking about the event, talking about all the cool things. We do have a 50% discount for CSE members as well. The best discount you'll find otherwise is 25%. So I had to do some begging for the CSE members for that. I can't even share it outside of the Discord. So if you're in the Discord, you'll get that exclusive discount as well. But Block Pro, really, we've covered a lot of ground today. Really appreciate your take. Every time I look at the gold chart, I'm like, oh, God, we're in the wrong game. But there is no wrong game. In CSE, we trade everything. I don't, but Block Pro and the better traders inside Discord, they trade gold, they trade minerals, etc. So there's always something to trade, always a chart to look at. You can always get the winning edge. But guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate everyone tuning in. We've got Hugo here saying thanks for the stream. Hugo is on a stream with Wiz a little bit later. If you're in the Discord, you'll see the link there as well. But guys, have an amazing rest of your day, and we will catch you in the Discord. Take care.
Sounds good. Have a good day. Bye-bye.